What's going on, y'all? Look, I'm sorry if this is not the usual enthusiasm that I usually have. I don't know. I think I'm coming down or something. I hope the hell I'm not because I'm like extremely tired. But I'm gonna get through this. Fuck this, because this shit just made me laugh. I'm just at the beginning. Mob Wives season 5, episode 2, Drunken Monkey Business. Let's get right into it, bitch. Karen in New York now, girl. She said this move been in the works for a minute. Her daughter then came around to the idea of moving to New York. She missing her friends and stuff, and plus her boo boo is here. I was like, she's still with Storm. See, Karen is all right with me for now because she likes the blacks, and I said, she like that dark meat. Go ahead, girl. You don't discriminate, because if you go by what you look at on movies and stuff, some of them Italians be a little bit racist. I ain't trying to go there, but that's just some. I ain't say all. And that's what they depict on the movies, but we're not gonna go there. But that's all right with me. I didn't know they was dating for 2.5 years or almost 2 years or whatever. I said, damn, didn't y'all just get together last season? But okay, go ahead. They cute together though. And Renee come up in there trying to stunt. It was like, hey girl, see girl, I didn't even know you was gonna come to this party like this. And she was like, girl, yeah, I had to come here and support you, because these bitches just don't know. I was like, look at these bitches. Okay. They geeked up with each other. And then, you know, Renee is just like, it bothers her that people that she's known for multiple years are taking the side of this girl, Natalie, who just came into the crew. And, she's spreading lies and saying stuff and basically trying to break up their friendships with Renee because Natalie don't like Renee. When I was listening to it, I was like, girl, Renee, you kind of stretching it. But then I had to think and I was like, that could be possible. Because then Karen goes into saying how, she don't know nothing about Natalie. Natalie was saying shit about her and her family on social media. And at one point in time, her boyfriend and Natalie boyfriend kind of, crossed paths. And, Storm was like, you need to check your girl. Tell her to chill out. She doing a little bit too much. And then next thing you know, Karen, like, she getting this phone call all the way up in Phoenix talking about something they trying to press charges against them, saying that Karen and Storm threatened them or some shit like that. And I'm like, girl, Natalie, you doing a little bit too much. Because that's when Karen was like, the bitch is a cop caller, and we don't fuck with cop callers. We don't fuck with rats, and we don't fuck with cop callers. I said, calm down. Calm down. It's just Renee who y'all talking to. Bitch, they be getting their blood pressure up, okay? Just from talking, having a normal conversation. Not even arguing, but having a normal conversation. But Renee's supposed to be meeting up with Drita and go on to Natalie. Natalie with her boyfriend London, and he was like, I'm glad you're not drinking because the shit that you did last night, it was just a little bit too much. She was like, when I saw Renee and then I seen Karen, I was like, I don't fuck with her. Her last name. That's the only reason why because of your last name, and bitch, you're a fucking rat. I'm 100% Sicilian, and we don't do that shit, okay? Your father's a fucking murderer and all this shit. I was like, girl, calm the fuck down. Your man is telling you to just let that shit go, leave it alone, and move the fuck on. Listen to him because he's trying to save your life, all right? Then we get this meeting with Drita and Renee. Drita is like, Natalie telling me that Renee saying that I was a fucking rat. I want to come up in there and just knock this bitch head off, but since I know her, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, because if she was just a regular stranger on the street, I would have just came in there and knocked the fuck out of her. I said, well, at least didn't do that, because we found out some stuff. Bitch, Renee was sitting there. Drita came up in that bitch, didn't even say hi. She said, okay, we finna get right down to it. If you call me a motherfucking rat, I'ma fuck you up right here. Bitch, you know I ain't call you no goddamn rat. And I know who the fuck said that. Bitch, you know what this bitch is trying to do. I know you how many years. Why the fuck would I say that? Did I say your husband? Did I put your husband name in my mouth? Guess I did, but I should have did that. But all I said was what he did. And that was it. Now this bitch is trying to break up my friendships and all this stuff. You know what this hoe did. She was like, I gotta listen to what this bitch did. Girl, you know I'm telling the truth. I was like, see? Drita came up in that bitch prepared to take out a razor from under her tongue or in her hair somewhere. She was just ready. But then she calmed the fuck down. And I'm just so glad that she didn't she said what she said, but she didn't go 100% in full attack mode, meaning she ain't coming in and knock the fuck out of Renee. That would have never happened. Renee would have been like, bitch, please. She would have put up a fight. But these bitches is crazy. So, Renee, she on the phone with her friend like, girl, I'm at the DMV. I'm trying to get them shit. These motherfuckers calling me because my bitch ass son, this motherfucker done racked up $3,000 worth of fucking tickets. And I'm like, bitch, where you getting the money from? And what you doing is you already told her one car. So she dealing with that shit. Then, we move on to this little meetup with Karen, Big Ange, and Drita. They coming and seeing Drita place and all this stuff. And Big Ange is like, look, I'm finna throw this party because it's the 7-year anniversary of the Drunken Monkey, her business, and or her being owning it. And I want everybody to come. Renee's not coming because I'm not ready to deal with her, but everybody else is coming. Natalie is coming. You can come, Karen too, with your boyfriend or whoever, and y'all can bring your husbands and shit, whatever. And, Karen was like, well, Drita was like, well, we got to address what's going on because I did talk to Ange, Renee about some stuff. And she told me, about Natalie and her being a cop call. And they was like, what? And then Karen told them the whole story. Basically, Karen basically said that, when London and Storm met, they had like mutual friends or something. And they ended on a good term when they got finished. And then that's when Natalie called the cops talking about something she needs protection and all this shit. So Karen was fucking over it. Drita was like, "Oh fuck no, I don't fuck around with cop callers. I can't be seen with them. Child, this code that they live by. I mean, I partly understand it, but y'all do a little bit too much for me. But I get it. I get it. And so they was like, we gonna have to talk about this shit. Drita goes and talks to Natalie, like, so look, girl, I talked to Renee. Renee told me something totally different from what you said. Renee's a fucking liar, okay? Why would I be what do I have to gain trying to break up a fucking friendship? She's a fucking rat. She's fucking lying. She's scared of you, so of course that's why she's saying that shit. But then I met up with Karen and she told me, talking about you called the cop. I called the cops? Bitch, please. First of all, him and London and Storm got together and they did this and they got into it and all this stuff. Drita was like, hold on, because when Karen told me this shit, it was almost as if Storm and London was cool with it after the end. Now you telling me there was some other stuff that was going on, and I'm sitting here like something about Natalie's story ain't adding up. I don't know why. If my tongue is red, it's because I'm Gatorade. But just to let y'all know. And I'm just sitting here like, Natalie, girl, your story just not really adding up. Somebody is lying somewhere, okay? Somebody lying somewhere, all right? And to diffuse this situation, I need y'all to get London and Storm in the same room and ask them at the same time their version of what happened, okay? Because here go Natalie. Cop caller. You don't like cop callers, but yet your last name is Gravano and your daddy was a CIA informant or federal informant. I said, girl, you love throwing that shit around. You love throwing that shit around. And when she said, you know who my family is, he came up to me like, you know who my family is. I'm sitting here like, girl, I don't know who your family is. So we niggas, we don't know nothing about that. I'm just saying. To be honest, Storm don't know shit about y'all like that. Come on now. Your family name don't really ring bells because I can't even remember it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And yeah, Karen was over her when they had that little meeting. Like, girl, please, ain't nobody finna believe you and your bullshit. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. Go ahead, bitch. So Renee in the car, she gotta go pick up fucking AJ, okay? Because he didn't get his license suspended. She told his ass, bitch, I go check up on my shit. I said, let me check up on your shit. And I'm finding out all this crap about you, and you ain't gonna tell nobody where you getting the money from. What are you doing this and you doing this? This little boy ain't paying no attention. He just not all the way there. And she just like, I don't like talking about people's kids, but I always thought he was a little bit disrespectful, and she allowed it. But she was like, me trying to shield him from his father and try to make him not grow up to be like that. It's like I spoiled him a little bit too much. You think, Renee? You think, girl? You did. So, moving on from that little scene, we get this scene with Karen and Storm. Karen come up into this little bar place, whatever that Storm was at. I said, Karen, you better fucking stunt your ass up in there. Pop, giving body and shit. I said, okay, Karen is feeling herself this season. She knows she that bitch on this season. I was like, all right, I'm waiting for the ball to drop. You just know, I'm just waiting for the bullshit to start. Because Karen goes up in that Storm was like, hey, babe, how you doing? You found the place, all right? She was like, yeah, Daddy, I found it. It's cool. You know, everything's going good and all this stuff. I was like, look at them. They so cute together, though. But to get down to the bullshit, she was like, Ange having this party at the Drunken Monkey, but Natalie and London gonna be there. And he was like, okay, what's the problem? And he was like, she talking about some uh the shit about London and you getting into it. And he was like, I don't know how this story then got so misconstrued. The fact of the matter is, I was at this place. My man started that, I knew London. And he was like, yo, you know this cat? He was like, no. And he was like, so that me and London wound up having this conversation like, yo, I don't know you, but your girl is talking shit about my girl. And it's like, you need to tell her to chill out because she don't know her. And my girl don't get down like that. And we end up exchanging numbers. And I was like, okay, because that's, niggas don't, excuse me, keep on saying niggas, but most dudes, they ain't here for all that catty ass drama, so they ain't gonna let it, they gonna dead that shit right there, and then they gonna move the fuck on. Us women, we just gotta keep on drawing it out and drawing it out. That's why we got this goddamn show. But, he did that shit, and he was like, if somebody was scared for their life, or I'm finna put a hit out on your life, or whatever the fuck, why would we exchange numbers and shit like that? I said, good point. Good point. Because Natalie was basically, Karen was like, what really pissed her off because she showed them Drita and Big Ange the text messages, not the text messages, but the Twitter messages about her and how she pulled Karen's father into it and, the family name and calling them rats and stuff like that. And it was just a mess. And I was like, girl, Karen, you screenshotted and saved them shits. I said, you better keep your receipts. And she was like, so we going to this thing or not? He was like, I don't give a fuck, okay, baby. I'm here with you. And I was like, I love him. I'm loving the way Karen is riding for her man and her man is riding for her. I said, y'all look cute together. Go ahead. Girl, it's the Big Ange little party, her little get together for her little thing. And, she out there talking to Natalie. She telling Natalie, Karen's coming. And Karen is like, she's like, fuck that bitch. I don't work with, I don't fuck with rats and shit like that. And Big Hand just trying to tell her, girl, you can't keep on bringing family in it. They so much about family. Like, you can fucking talk about me and what I've done and what I may be doing or what you may think I might do in the future. You can call me all type of fucking names in the book, but you don't put my motherfucking family. Don't let my mama name come out your mouth. Don't say shit about my sisters, my brothers, my cousins, my aunts, uncles and shit like that. Bitch, what the girl name is, Natalie just don't understand. Leave that shit alone. Because her thing is just you being noticed by your fucking family's last name. So whatever your family did, or one person in your family did, that's what you are. Okay? It was Karen's father who did rat out, was a little rat. Okay, let's get that clear. He did do some shit. All right? Karen's father did. All right? And Big Ant was trying to tell her, but you can't call Karen a rat because Karen didn't do those things. Her dad did. So how come it's like the sins of the father? It's just, that phrase, sins of the fathers and stuff like that. It's just, pummeling and trolling on down to the rest of the family. So now they stigmatized with this shit. And it's like, Natalie just don't understand to stop putting the family in there and stop, looking at the past and all this stuff and look at what Karen actually did. Did that girl actually do something to you? No, she did not. She's so old Italian thinking and all that stuff, I guess. But then Big Ange was like, this girl is so young-minded and I've been around too long. And even Big Ange said, don't bring the family in it. And then when they trying to talk to her and Drita trying to talk to Natalie about it, and she keep on saying, I don't do this with rats and all this, rats this and rats that. Natalie, she got a big fucking mouth, but the bitch don't look like she can bag that shit up. Okay? Karen came there and you ran the fucking way. If she's that much of a rat, why don't you whoop her ass? You had prime opportunity to do something, but you sure enough walked away. All you doing is talking. Okay? Girl, and then here come Karen and Storm just walking up in there like, hey. I was like, look at them. They so cute together for some reason. I don't know. Girl, at this point in time, I want Karen to ragtag Natalie because she talks too fucking much. I can't wait till the other Natalie come on because y'all know it's another Natalie that's coming on and she gonna have an issue with this Natalie. I want to see them fight. Girl, they better do something. They're having this little thing Karen walks in. Girl, let me just tell you this. Everybody is cool. London sees Storm. They give each other dabs. They give each other hugs. You know that bro hug with the dab. They get him that. And then he was like, Storm was like, I don't know what happened, but it's all good. This, we know mutual people and we said this and we said that. He was like, it's all good. He was like, I can't really control my girl. He was like, I understand that, but it's the situation is squashed. She really wasn't no situation between us. And this is what London is saying to him, to Storm and Karen. He coming up, squashing whatever may be squashed, and didn't even come up there to them in a hostile manner, which all cool and stuff. And I'm like, see, there you go. Drita looking like, oh shit, hold on. They're cool, but I thought Natalie said there was an issue. I said, see, Natalie, girl, you want it to be an issue. You doing too much. You talking too much shit. And then you come up right at the moment when Storm is saying, I'm just saying, you don't know nobody, so just stop talking about him because you don't know him. She was like, did this motherfucker just jerk me off? And then my boyfriend ain't gonna do nothing? I was like, girl, you reading too much into it. That's for any motherfucking body. But see, when you're guilty, that's when that shit hits so hard. And that's what it was with Natalie. You're guilty of saying shit, and you know that you deserve that, whatever that was, to be applied to your ass, okay? And that's why you applied it to you so fucking hard. And then you going outside, you getting pissed off at him. He's even saying that you're dumb as fuck for doing this and you need to leave that shit alone. He can't even fucking control you. You pissed off at him and gonna say something. Why you always gotta be the peacemaker? Bitch, you want drama. I did not know people really be out here fiending for drama like this until I seen this hoe. I'm like, Natalie, what the fuck? You're childish as shit. Okay, your man is looking out for you. Your man don't put you into drama. Don't put you into a situation where you can get possibly hurt. He takes you out of that. He protects you from that shit, but yet you want to put yourself in there and then get mad when he pull you out of it. That's fucking stupid and delusional and all that shit. And you talking all this shit about Karen, oh, I don't talk to rats and all this stuff. And Drita them like, why don't you talk to her? If that's the case, why don't you just sit down and talk to her and hash this shit out? I don't talk to fucking rats. But you talk shit behind her back, but you won't talk it to her face. You got this big of a problem with her, but you won't talk to her face. And then you want to get so amped up and try to all of a sudden get some little balls and go in there because you knew Drita was going to pull your ass back out. You knew Drita was going to pull your ass back out. And I was like, Natalie, sit your ass down somewhere. I'm just waiting for she just needs to get popped. And Karen is about to pop that ass. I really want her to. Y'all know I'm watching and recording on a commercial break, so that's why I'm talking like this. But she irking the fuck out of me. Grow the fuck up, bitch. Okay? Just grow up. So Karen is up in there like, girl, what's going on? I'm here for Big Ange. Why everybody outside? Storm was like, baby, you want me to come with you? She was like, no, I'm just gonna see what's up, okay? And so Drita trying to calm Natalie dumbass down, telling her you don't go to no man. Cause when Storm came up in there, Natalie was acting as if she was just waiting for Storm to hit her ass. And I'm sitting here like, why do you think this big ass man, because of his size, that he just gonna come in and automatically knock your ass out or try to attempt something like that? Why do you think that? You looking for something to happen. And so when all this shit happened, it was just so dumb. Karen goes outside and see, when Karen knows something is going on, Karen's gonna fucking approach. She's not gonna talk that shit behind your back. She gonna discuss it and then she gonna approach that shit to you. And she was like, what's up? What's going on out here, y'all? And then here go Natalie all of a sudden. Let me ask you this question. See, if your man, who do your man think he is to come talk to me and then gonna say some shit and jerk me off in front of my dude? And then she was like, I don't let my man get involved in stupid shit like that. So I just, Karen wasn't trying to come at her like that, but she was just explaining the situation. And she was like, so you let your man get into bitch shit? And it was like, when Karen said, so if my man is into bitch shit, you mean to tell me that what you saying is that your man is a bitch? I was like, oops. Shots fired. But when Natalie was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Karen was like, I'm Karen, and who the fuck are you? But did y'all peep the bitch that was looking out the door? That would have been me. I ain't bringing my ass out there because I don't know what the fuck they got going on. But Ashley gonna have a front row seat because I'm gonna be like this, peeping. Bitches, they about to fight. Crack the door just a little bit so we can hear. You get that? Everybody got audio? Shh. That's me, okay? That's me. And then, Karen was about to boss up and then it goes off because I guess a little altercation or whatever the fuck can happen. And then Natalie talking about something, you a cop call. No, Karen talking about you a cop caller. And Natalie keep on talking about this rat shit. And I'm like, Natalie, what exactly did Karen do to you? Okay, you making this shit out seeming as if Storm actually tried to touch you and whoop your ass in this motherfucking thing. Do you think your man will really just let this man fucking whoop your ass or try to attempt to do that shit? Hell motherfucking no. And like Drita said, it's like, he don't want to go there with Storm because of his size or whatever, but I don't think that's it. London just never appeared to be that type of person who likes the fucking drama. And he gonna wind up leaving your ass. There you go. My wife was good tonight. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.